GTA Online is a fun game about criminal life where everything you do has a purpose, and that purpose is usually getting paid. Seriously, you can't swing a dead cat in this game without someone paying you for it, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but some activities in GTA Online tend to pay a lot more than others. And that's why today I'm going to be ranking every single money-making method in GTA Online from worst to best, starting with trash tier at the bottom and going all the way up to god tier at the very top. This list will include all daily activities, contact missions, heists, businesses, properties, races, and more. Honestly, I could probably make a detailed guide on some of these activities that weren't full videos all by themselves, but this video is going to be a quick overview of sorts just to give you a broad idea of where they all stand relative to each other. We have a ton of stuff to go over, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get stuck in, and starting with the trash tier, this is full of activities and businesses that no sane person should ever grind if they care about money, and I won't even bother to dignify these with a detailed ranking, so here it goes. Taxi work, which is simultaneously one of the most boring activities you can do in GTA Online, and is also one of the lowest paying ones because you literally get paid in the hundreds of dollars. Robbing civilians is probably the only thing in this game that somehow pays even less than taxi work because you get about $20 at a time, and even if you somehow mow down the entire crowd at Del Perro Pier without getting your butt handed to you by the cops, that's still less than $1,000, just abysmal, and I wouldn't even do this for a challenge. Robbing stores is another one of the most awful ways to make money, and it's what the new kids used to do back in 2014 when they just installed the game and they had no idea what businesses are, because there weren't any in the game. Basically, you go into a store, shoot the cashier, and empty the register for anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. Player bounties are another way to make money, just not a very good one, because it does require you to hunt down players in PvP who have a bounty on their head, and this is usually $1 to $3 grand, so it's not even that much considering you're going after someone who may have top level gear and maybe more experience than you at the game, so you'll basically get your ass kicked half the time for tiny amounts of cash, and it's just a giant waste of your time. Another trash tier moneymaker is the selling cars option that you get at LS Customs. For this, you go out and collect NPC cars from the street, bring them to the nearby LS Customs shop, and sell them for a few $1,000s. It might seem okay at first because you'll get 7 or 8 grand from certain high tier vehicles, but that's not going to happen every time because you could just get unlucky with spawns, and on top of that, you also have a cooldown nowadays, so you can't just spam sell cars. Selling cars in GTA Online is really bad unless you're duping ECs and selling those. Next, we move on to the bad tier, and these are activities that might seem enticing to those of you who are new to the game, or activities that were decent in the early days of this game's lifespan, but now they're just not worth it anymore. And remember, I'm ranking these primarily from a money-making perspective, so while some of these activities can be a nice change of pace from your regular grinding nowadays, and they might even seem fun for a little bit, they are not good ways to make money at the end of the day. Take, for example, a G's Cash. It appears once per in-game day, and you can get $15,000 to $20,000 on average for collecting the cash, as well as some snacks and ammo. Not bad for a side hustle that you can do whenever you come across the icon during your travel across Los Santos once a day. But using its single instance to earn money? No way. Same applies to stash houses. These have a random chance of either giving you $30,000 or resupplying one of your businesses. Not saying you shouldn't do these. In fact, I highly recommend you do both the stash house as well as the G's Cash every single day during your daily GTA Online sessions, but don't think of these as actual money makers in the immediate short term. Simeon's car requests are also pretty bad for money making. These come via SMS messages where Simeon gives you a list of daily vehicles that he needs, and delivering one of these vehicles pays you $20,000, which isn't awful, but you'll sometimes have to drive this car all the way across the map to the docks if you get a bad spawn, and you also have to visit an LS Customs to respray the stolen item before you deliver it to the docks. Free roam events like the one where you catch a robber and return the stolen money to nearby shops are also a thing, and you can also go treasure hunting or look for underwater caches if you're feeling bored, but these are not reliable ways to make money either, and I'll also be putting them in the bad tier for that reason. Then we have gambling at the casino, or more specifically horse racing and slot machines. While horse racing can be somewhat reliable as a way to make money if you consistently bet on the horse with the best odds, it is by no means something you can grind on the regular, and unless you really like watching those janky horse race animations which look like they came straight out of a browser-based Flash game from 2010, this is not a money-making method that I recommend. Slot machines are even worse, as these are impossible to rig in your favor, and you'll likely end up losing more than you make, which puts you in the negative. So no, don't gamble your money away. There are better ways of wasting your fortune, like buying expensive cars that you'll never use. Now let's talk about the mid tier, and this is going to contain a few activities such as the wildlife photography job, which was added with the expanded and enhanced edition of GTA. Thanks to this, instead of randomly running over cats and dogs with your car, you can now photograph them and send 3 images of different animals to the LS tourist board, who will reward you with $100,000 for your effort. You have to visit the board and see which animals have been requested. You can't just click photos of random animals, and to make things easier, you can look up the interactive GTA map, which tells you where these animals are most likely to spawn so that you could take advantage of taking those those photos. Junk Energy also has a variety of ways for you to make money, and these include bicycle time trials and skydives. The bike time trial pays $51,000, and the skydives can give you up to $150,000 if you do all 10 with gold medals. These do have a daily cooldown, and while they're not bad for money making as side activities, they're also not excellent either. OG heists also make it into the mid tier, as their design is outdated by this point, and if you've been playing GTA Online for as long as I have, the novelty factor of them has certainly worn off as well. Prison Break and Series A funding are some of the worst offenders, and the rest of the OG heists don't really fare much better, as they require a crew of people to even start, and for those who prefer to play solo, then itself, that's going to be a problem. Relying on randos to make a couple $100,000 for an hour plus of work with tedious setup missions is just not going to be worth it for a lot of people. Arena War also makes it into the mid tier, and while they recently doubled the arena points you get, the only reason you'd play Arena War these days is for those custom vehicles. The bail office is also going to be mid tier, I believe. Even though the most wanted bounties can be a pretty fun thing to do, the long cooldowns and awful bail office van can bring the overall experience down, and that's how a lot of players feel. Then we have a few MC businesses, namely the document forgery office, the math lab, as well as the grass farm. In terms of profit per hour, the document forgery office is at the absolute bottom, and in my ranking every businesses video, I put it in the absolute trash tier. The grass farm is definitely a lot better than the document forgery office, but it wasn't really super far ahead until last month, when it received a 35% boost to sale values if you own the smoke shop, and in my opinion, that definitely brings it up to a higher tier with a profit per hour on par or even slightly higher than the math lab. And this 35% boost only applies, like I said, if you own the smoke on the water smoke shop, and that can be purchased once you have the hands-on car wash. Still, the boring deliveries for these MC businesses, combined with the mediocre payouts and the fact that if you want to grind all the MC businesses, that could be an entire GTA Online grind where the profit per hour is still going to be less than if you farmed better activities. I think honestly that means all MC businesses for me are going to stay in the mid tier for now. But if I wanted to nitpick, I'd say Cash and Coca-Cola are pretty much the only two MC businesses that are super worth grinding, and so that's why those are going to be our entries in the good tier. Cash is actually the highest paying MC business now if you own the car wash, but it still suffers from the same weaknesses as the rest of the MC businesses, namely multiple slow sell vehicles and the occasional raid that forces you to drop everything else and rush to the marked location on the map so that you can save your product. Vehicle warehouses, the hangar, the auto shop, as well as CEO special cargo are also going to make it into the good tier, and I've already done a detailed business ranking video that you can watch, so I won't explore them here, but rest assured, if you're looking for good investments, you cannot go wrong with any of these. As for daily activities, you won't see really any of them past the mid tier, but there are still races and time trials which do pay well depending on whether you have a bonus event going on or not. Plus, racing can be quite entertaining if you have a good lobby, so I'll leave that one in the good tier. In fact, at the time of me making this video and recording it, the land races were on a 4 times money and RP bonus, so that's actually a really decent way to make money with those, but of course, you'll probably see this video after that event is over. Regular time trials pay $100,000 and they take 2 minutes or less. HSW time trials pay $250,000 for about the same amount of time, and both are extremely easy if you own a fast vehicle like the Haku Chao Drag or something better. By the way, you can use the HSW vehicles for regular races too, which makes them even easier as they're calibrated with non-HSW vehicles in mind. And if you're new and you don't have the cash, grab yourself a Batty 801RR. It's only $15,000, and with a couple of upgrades, it will get you through every regular time trial as long as you use the age-old trick of popping a wheelie to boost your speed. Bunker is another way to earn reliable cash every time in this game, and if you're worried about multiple sell vehicles like other businesses, what I do is just do one resupply, and as soon as that's used up, I'll do a delivery for the bunker immediately. This, in combination with the ammunition deliveries, will give me $100,000 every single hour, so yeah, I'll say good tier for the bunker as well. Now, contact missions, believe it or not, are also a good way to earn money, but it depends which ones you're doing. For example, Simeon's Premium Deluxe Repo work, where you drive to a designated location and blow up cars for $23,000, is a contact mission, but so is the Cluck and Bell Farm Raid, and it pays $500,000 guaranteed for an hour or less of work. Most of the time, you can do it in less than 45 minutes. Now, Madrazo also has some missions for you, and these pay between $19,000 and $20,000 per mission if you take the max time approach and drag it out to 16 minutes. See, GTA Online uses the same curse mechanic that we also see in Red Dead Online, where the longer you take to complete content and do missions, missions, the more you get rewarded with cash and RP for certain activities. However, just like with Red Dead Online, there is a sweet spot, and so if you do a mission and complete it within that 4 to 6 minute time frame, you'll get 50% of the total take, which is a lot better than waiting the full 15 minutes for 100%. And if you're a new player with no cash to buy the Kasatka or the agency business, these contact missions aren't a bad way to make money, because contact missions also contain things like the first dose and last dose missions, as well as Cluck and Bell, like I said, so I'm going to be putting these in the good tier. But with that giant disclaimer that says not all contact missions are created equal, and the regular ones for Lamar or Gerald, for example, that we've had since the beginning of the game are simply not worth it after you reach a certain level. Now, VIP work also falls into the same category here, where it can be good if you select the right missions, and ideally here, you'll want to mix in client jobs or something similar to fill up that cooldown between missions. Would I recommend it for grinding exclusively? Not really, but if you're looking for something to break up the pace and you want nice, short, solo-friendly missions, you should check out the following 3 VIP missions: Sightseer, Headhunter, and Transporter. In between the cooldowns, you can summon your Terabyte and do Robbery in Progress or Diamond Shopping as client jobs if you have the drone station installed, or you could just mix it up with some agency security contracts or even money laundering work for RAF, both of which you can request with a simple phone call. Speaking of which, both the agency as well as the car wash are easily making it into the god tier here on my list. They are exceptionally time efficient for how much money you make, and with the recent cutscene skip, the Dr. Dre contract can be done in less than 65 minutes. Acid Lab is also going to be god tier for obvious reasons. You make up to $351,000 selling in an invite-only session every 3 hours as long as you have that production speed boost, and it's a single cell vehicle every single time. The Manches Scout, which is one of the easiest bikes to ride, and it will handle any terrain you throw at it, so you can make deliveries insanely fast by climbing over hills and jumping across barriers, and it can also withstand 4 homing missiles if you didn't know for some reason, which makes it more armored than the armored Kuruma or even the Duke of Death, funny enough. Now, the nightclub is also a god tier business, and once you've got a few storage expansions and assigned technicians to the best businesses, that will bring in $100,000 an hour. So if you want a guide on the nightclub, I have that on my channel as well. And if you want to do some top tier heists with a squad, the Diamond Casino heist as well as the Doomsday heists are also going to pay well, but you do need an arcade for the Diamond Casino heist and a facility to start the Doomsday heist. The Doomsday heist is also one of the lengthiest and most difficult heists in the game, with a finale that can last nearly an hour. Payout is good, no doubt, but you better have a team of friends you can trust, because you will need multiple players for this one, and you simply can't trust randos in my experience. So if you have friends, both the arcade and facility will be worth the investment. But if you want to roll solo, of course nothing beats the glorious Cayo Perico heist with its $1 million per hour payout and super easy setup missions. All you need is that Kasaka submarine, and I definitely recommend a Sparrow helicopter, which for $1.8 million is an absolute bargain. To close things off too with this tier, I'll also put the recent DLC additions like the Garment Factory, Mackenzie Airfield, as well as the Car Wash in the top tier of money-making methods, because they will all reliably make you $400,000 an hour, except the Mackenzie Airfield, which will actually pay out $5,000 for a heist on easy mode that'll take you about an hour, or $750,000 if you do it on hard mode, and won't take you really any more time at all, so it's definitely worth doing it on hard mode. Anyways guys, those are all the various money-making methods in GTA Online ranked according to how much money they can make, and while the list is obviously dominated by businesses at the top and the heists as well, don't discount those daily activities like the time trials and stash houses, as they are a very effective and nice side hustle, and they will help you kill the boredom in between your heist cooldowns, things like that. Security contracts, payphone hits, money laundering missions, etc. are also really good for making lots of money in a short time. And I did intentionally omit some of the various activities like contact missions and all the different types you can do from all the different people, because there's only so much you can put into one video. But let me know down in the comments if you have any other money making methods that you think are worth including on this list that I missed out on, and the ones you like. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you found this guide entertaining and you want to see more GTA Online content like this. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv for daily GTA Online money grinding live streams. Check out my YouTube shorts and TikToks for daily short form rapid fire tips, tricks, news, updates, leaks, guides, tutorials, and more. And with that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new GTA 5 online video. Adios amigos.